Hi, this is Brad Kahn, instructor of Read 436. Welcome to the course. This is a brief getting started guide, really just a quick overview of what the course is about and how to actually access it on the Blackboard site. So you'll see in the agenda here, again, let's just talk about what it is and how to do it. And you'll see elsewhere inside the class, once you get familiar with the Blackboard site, that you'll see screencasts like this. You'll also see video presentations from time to time from me. But this will be one way at the outset of a module for you to sort of experience, get an overview, 35,000 foot view of the course and how to interact with the content and the assignments in it. So really quickly about me, this is my second year teaching. I helped start actually this online program, helped design it. Several of the courses you have or will take were by my hand. This is my second time teaching this particular course, which is exciting because, as you all know from having taught something for the first time, all you do the first time is learn, and then it's really the second, third, fourth, however many times thereafter that we really start to perfect teaching a particular subject, content, course, etc. And I feel the same way in this particular course. I'm really excited to share with you kind of what I learned and how that sort of translates into this class. You can see from the image here that I've written a couple of publications, including this one about the Common Core. I just actually am finishing up a research study about the Common Core, and particularly around leadership around it, but it is also about literacy. And I have another book coming out next year. I, in the past, have worked as a high school English teacher and worked with high schools, but in the last several years, I've been working K through 12, and my book that comes out next year, which is about teaching theme, is really around grades 4 through 12. So I do quite a bit of work with elementary as well. So thinking about the principles of backwards design, let's start with the end in mind. I want to share with you what an A is in this course, so you know right from the outset what it's going to take to get that. And I draw this from this. You can find this language on page 7 of the syllabus I sent you. And it's drawn from my language from designing the course. It's drawn from Roosevelt's language about their objectives and expectations for people in this program. And it's drawn from what was formerly known as the International Reading Association, but is now the International Literacy Association, their standards for reading professionals, people like literacy coaches, intervention specialists, curriculum designers, etc. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to allow you to pause, sorry, and just sort of read through these things. But this is what we would call a 4 or exceeding standards, in that case an A. And you can find it in the right-hand column of the rubrics in the syllabus, or you can just read through it right here. Okay, hopefully you took a chance to look at that. If not, rewind and pause and take a look. Here right now, right on the screen right now, is just an overview of what the previous slides covered. This is really a graduate level reading and writing course with the content being literacy. So we're going to do a lot of work around these sort of core foundational pieces of reading and writing, of literacy and language development, right? And some of the work we're going to do is just really understanding what these theories are saying. And then some of the work we're doing is about thinking around their application to your classroom, right? What do they look like in practice? What do they mean for practice? Because really, one of the ulterior motives here is that I'm sure you've heard about this theory-practice divide before, right? A lot of what you know from teaching on a day-to-day basis, from knowing students so well as you do, doesn't seem to always be reflected in the research literature from people who don't spend their days in classrooms. And so I want to bridge the two and see how both sides can inform the other. And again, this is going to be an intensive reading and writing course. This is an opportunity to improve your skills at doing so. So you probably saw in the syllabus I mentioned this idea about modules. Modules are really units with the added piece of allowing the participant to move at their own pace and to get feedback and differentiation as needed over the course of their experience. So here's just sort of a layout of the content, right? We're going to start by really sort of like laying a foundation about what does the research say about literacy. We're going to look at some models, and we're going to make sense of sort of the historical perspective about literacy research. Module 2 is really going to sort of say, look at the last 15 years or so and say, this is what's informing what a lot of you guys do on a daily basis. And we're going to look at the pros and cons of that. Then we're going to look at some issues in contemporary literacy instruction, things like balanced literacy and workshop, which predominate in elementary schools these days. We're going to look at the increasing diversity of learners and things of that nature. And then we'll wrap up by looking at the future of literacy. We'll look at ways we might move the theory forward. We'll look at the role new literacies or digital technologies are playing in literacy. And we'll look at disciplinary literacy as well. So you might have noticed that when you're thinking about how you're going to get graded in this course, there's two main grades. I'm going to go to the problem of practice in 1 second. But first, participation is going to be made up of 3 pieces, and you can see there are various kinds of feedback and various levels of responsibility done intentionally, because my goal here is to give you formative assessment opportunities repeatedly over the course of each module in the course of the course, sorry. So you're going to have individual reading responses. These are going to be done independently, of course, and you're going to do at least a couple each module, right? That's my opportunity to see if you're understanding and to make adjustments to the course based on that. There's going to be a small group task each module, so 4 in total. And they'll always include some work on getting feedback on your problem of practice project and some synthesis of the module content. And then finally, there will be a whole group discussion each module. This is going to allow us to have a conversation, to ask questions, to get some real-time back and forth in what I think is probably the most efficient space possible. It's much easier to do an hour, 45 minutes to an hour in a whole group than do a multi-hour small group work as well. So the problem of practice, if you've done any action research before, you know this is exactly what it is. It's really about making teachers researchers. In that sense, we're going to pose a problem or a question, and you're going to pursue it using the research based on literacy and using your own practice as well. And you're going to see I've staged it out so that each module you're going to have something due that's going to help you build towards finishing it at the end of the semester. And make sure that after you view this, you get a chance to just browse the problem of practice folder. I've included the assignment details, the calendar, and I've also included examples of past projects so you have a sense of what the expectations are. More on this in a bit. So this is what A work looks like on the problem of practice project, which I call POP, by the way. And you can find this on page 7 of the syllabus as well. It's in the rubric. So having taught the course, I have a couple of mantras, philosophies, I think that I want to share with you so that you have a sense about what it would take to be successful in this course. There's 2 pieces. I want to do the second one first just because I mentioned it in the syllabus, right? I've found that in teaching 3 separate courses in this program, the thing that makes a difference on an online course, because it's asynchronous and you don't necessarily have the weekly or daily physical interaction, is making up for it via interactions, via email, conferencing, etc. So sustained engagement and feedback, that is reaching out to your peers, reaching out to me regularly to get feedback, to ask questions, etc. I really would strongly urge against isolating yourself and just doing the course sort of distinct from the other pieces that are going on. Participate in the whole class discussion, use it as a learning opportunity. Reach out to me whenever possible to really help your work along. The second piece is what I call the 2+2 rule. Typically, in graduate studies, the rule has been, I don't know where this came from, but the rule has been for every credit hour of a course, you should expect to spend 2 hours per week on it. So in theory, that would mean spending 6 hours a week for this course because it's a 3-credit course. What I would suggest doing instead is selecting 2 days a week to plan on focusing on this course, right? So you might pick a weekend morning and you might pick a weekday evening, depending on your schedules. And again, this is up to you. I just would space the workout and do it twice a week as opposed to trying to run through it 1 day a week. And in those 2 hours, I do 1 day for the readings for the week, and I do 1 day to do whatever response work, whatever group work, whatever problem of practice work you need to do that week. So I'd separate 2. And then I say it's 2+2 because the second 2 just refers to what I think is the amount of time you should allow yourself each time. So I think it should take about 2 hours to read around 3, which is roughly around 2 to 3 articles a week, depending on the module. But again, you'll have choice over how to do that. And then I think it'll usually take, again, about 2 hours sort of to write a response, to participate in group work, etc. Just leave yourself that time. It may not take that long. Okay, let me just show you how the modules work Okay, so you're going to come to the Blackboard site. You should have a link as of Monday morning, and you're going to see the announcement that I sent you. The announcements will always be on the front page. And you're going to click on weekly lessons, because that's going to house all of the course content. 80% of the time in this course, you're going to be in this window, right? And then so you're going to see each folder listed is the module. And then you can also, if you scroll down, you can see it says problem of practice, project materials. There's a separate folder for that. So if you go into module 1, the first module we're doing, you can see it says the dates. You'll also see the first thing is a checklist, and that checklist is going to list exactly everything you need to get done for the module in the order I would suggest you do it in. And you'll also see that I've linked most things, and by the time you see this on Monday or the week of the 12th, you'll see that I have linked the rest here. But you'll see a checklist that's going to list everything that's going on. And then when it should be due with links to that work. You'll also see that there's going to be three folders, and they're always going to be the same three folders in every module. That's instruction, reading, and assignments. Readings is pretty self-explanatory, right? You're going to find the texts that are PDFs that are downloadable in this folder. All of them are going to be in one folder. The Cousar text, the text that you're purchasing, that's a separate piece. I'll tell you what text to read, but it won't be online. Now, assignments is going to include everything due during that module period. So you can see here in assignments, the 2 reading responses, the problem of practice project proposal. If I scroll down, you'll see the group task as well. So all of this stuff is going to be due in this module, and so all of the assignments are in this folder, including the problem of practice piece. And you can also see here that instruction is where I'm going to include handouts, these kinds of presentations, anything that's going to help you do the work of the class or going to provide an overview of the content or discussion. That's going to go in instruction folder as well. I'll direct you to those things. So let me just sort of wrap up here, and then we will we'll be done. So Roosevelt has a couple of policies I just want to reiterate for you, because so you know how to plan the rest of the course. One is attendance. Obviously, it's an online course. Attendance really is going to be measured in your completion of the participation work. So you'll need to attend the whole group discussion, of course. You'll need to turn things in on time. I'll need to have evidence that you're doing the work, that you're making satisfactory progress. I'm a stickler about late work. If you turn something in late, it's going to be marked down a grade, period. Arrange with me ahead of time if you have concerns, and we can work out. I'm usually more than happy to work out a deal about changing, adjusting schedules in order for you to get the work needed in time in order to buy you more time. That's the whole idea of this module thing, to allow you to go at your own pace. Finally, plagiarism. This is a course that's going to work with research, and so you're going to be using Turnitin quite a bit. Because I need to make sure that you are doing what's ethical, which is to apply and leverage research, but not to actually copy it. So we'll be using that. I have failed people in this class before for plagiarizing, but typically what will happen is I'll have you start over and not plagiarize. So if you have any concerns, make sure you touch base with me. On communication-wise, just know that I'm going to probably send you about two emails a week through the course site, just reminding you about things that are due, pointing you to resources. And then also, I would expect you, again, to regularly interact with me over email, over the phone, or in conference in order to resolve concerns or to get feedback as well. So here are your immediate next steps to get started. I want you to review the syllabus, because there's a course calendar in it now. So click on syllabus in the Blackboard site and download the new one. Also make sure to check the problem of practice materials as well. Complete the survey if you haven't already done so. The link is in the checklist for Module 1, as well as on the main page of the course site. I also want you to plan your schedule. Figure out your days that you're going to work on the course. Put in your calendar when things are going to be due, particularly for the next couple of weeks. And then read Alexander and Fox. And it's not listed on here, but I want to make sure you don't forget to do it. Also, view the presentation in the instruction folder in Module 1 that goes over the sort of what is literacy question. It's going to help guide the Alexander and Fox reading, which is really a history of how we've looked at literacy and language. Feel free to give me a shout if you have any questions or concerns, and I look forward to working with you in this course. Thanks.